Many thanks for choosing us. President Akufo-Addo and its government are under intense pressure to make a crucial policy intervention that will address the current economic crisis in the country, which has seen a significant rise in the cost of living amidst the rapid depreciation of the cedi against major trading currencies. The president has ruled out any possibility of returning to the IMF against recommendations by top economists. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will this week brief Parliament on strategies developed at an expanded cabinet retreat over the weekend. Here's the News Desk report.
I'm using all our money to buy fuel.
I was hoping that I could get building materials at cheaper prices, but the prices keep soaring.
That's the crunch being felt by many Ghanaians. Fuel prices are at an all-time high beyond 10 cedis per litre after starting the year at 6 cedis 30 pesos. The city is in a free fall and general cost of living is on the ascendancy. President Akufo-Addo has admitted that the economic conditions are harsh.
I know these are difficult times for all of us. Our nation and indeed every country on the face of the planet is going through challenges brought forth largely by the pandemic of COVID-19. Ghana is not the only country faced with extraordinary increases in global freight rates, strong inflationary pressures, dramatically rising fuel prices, unprecedented volatility of stock markets, and tighter global financing conditions. These are global phenomena.
These conditions call for tough measures. Already, pay cuts for government officials and suspension of flagship programs have been proposed.
The executive and writers must have a pay cut. Maybe 25% will do.
Why don't you suspend this let's say, social intervention?
Experts predict that failure to act swiftly will force a return to the IMF.
Yeah. Then once your international reserve depletes to a certain level, you have no choice than to go to the IMF in an ambulance. This is what is keeping us right now.
Government has, however, ruled this out. In response to the rising criticisms, key members of government held a crucial meeting over the weekend to strategize on how to fix the economy. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected to communicate the outcome of the meeting to Parliament this week.
Finance Minister has 12 questions. We know the challenging times we find ourselves, but we believe that he would make it and explain government financial policies.
We'll be speaking to the Information Minister, Ojapon Kroma, shortly for measures put in place by government to deal with the situation. But before that, former Attorney General and Minister for Justice in the erstwhile NDC administration, Dr. Obed Asamoah, has advised government to consider going to IMF for a bailout. Ghana is currently going through harsh economic challenges, putting immense pressure on government to come up with alternative solutions to save the economy. The government of Ghana is determined on mobilizing resources locally to fix the crisis. It has intimated that turning to the IMF for a bailout is off the table. But contributing to the ongoing discourse on the matter, Dr. Obed Asamoah says the weak economic fundamentals leaves the government with no choice other than heading to the IMF. He spoke to Benjamin Akakpo in an exclusive interview.
Ken Ofori-Atta says the country is broke. He's managing it. How come it is broke? How come it is broke? And allow Bawumia to say all kinds of things. Don't you see how quiet Bawumia is? He's been used too much. And I think he begins to see the possibility that he might be a presidential candidate. And a lot of the things he's saying now will be used against him. You know, so he's slowing down, you know.
In other words, you're saying he's shying away from the economic discourse?
He's obviously, I mean, in any case, because he's playing into his own, he's shooting himself in the foot. I mean, you talk about economic fundamentals and whatnot, and they will show you in the exchange rate, the exchange rate movement will show you up.
Fundamentals will expose you.
Haven't they exposed him? We are now, the cedi is now at about 8 cedis to the dollar.
What would you like to see as an elderly statesman in the country when it comes to dealing with our cedi problems and arresting the skyrocketing prices of fuel products?
We have to spend less.
Spend less?
Yes. You know, for example, I mean, this e-levy the indications are that they want to raise the e-levy to use it as a collateral.
As a bond.
As a bond. You know, why that? Why do you want to go into more debt? The debt will be paid by you and I in the next few years. So I think they have to spend less, and they should sit down and be more realistic about what is possible and what is not.
Others have said that the solution is going to the Bretton Woods institutions, specifically the IMF. What do you make of that?
Actually, I wish we didn't have to go to the IMF.
But do we have to?
Where we are now, I think we have to.
We have to go to the IMF?
Oh, yes. They will lower our sights in terms of expenditure and say, look, you can only manage so much. We can give you so much money. You have to manage within the limits of what we are going to give you. And I think there's some kind of, that kind of discipline is necessary. It's unfortunate.
You heard the Obed Asamoah this week to brief Parliament on what's happening with the economy. Let's head to the Bank of Ghana, where the governor is addressing the media.
Thank you very much, Obed. So like I said, let's be very brief with our questions. The preambles, let's be very, very brief, very straight to the point. Okay.
One.
Bobby.
Yes, hello. My name is Bobby Osei. I work with City FM and City TV. First of all, I want to start off with fuel prices. Petrol and diesel prices have risen over a 12-month period by close to 81% and 94% respectively. Now, in our the stakeholders, they called on the BOG to tweak the framework for forex auctions so that OMCs and would be able to have access to the FX at a reliable rate. Is the BOG looking into something? Would they consider something like that so that they will be able to help them procure fuel with their stable FX rates? Also, I do know that there have been talks of Ghana's ability to meet its medium-term financing needs as well as our external obligations. What assurances are you willing to give to the market in terms of our ability to meet our external obligations? And just finally, on the reserves, you launched a domestic gold purchase program to more or less shore up the reserves. Where are we with that? Have we increased our pool of, should I say, gold reserves? And also, what other steps are we taking to improve our reserves position, please?
So, thank you. George, let's get ready. Yeah.
My name is Edward Nyak from Ghana Television. We've seen report this morning that after a cabinet retreat, that about $2 billion or cedis will be injected into the economy. How would that improve the cedis performance on the forex market? Thank you.
I think you should hold on.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman will provide responses to these questions. Thank you, Joe. Mr. Chairman.
Is on already? Okay, so thank you very much. I think that a lot of the questions have to do with the depreciation of the CD and what the Bank of Ghana is doing to address it, and specifically what we are doing to assist OMCs market, foreign exchange, questions on where we are in terms of the domestic gold purchase program. All of them are more or less around the issue of the foreign exchange market. As you are aware, the CD came under pressure sometime in February, and the reasons for that have varied. Part of it reflects the fact that we had lost access to capital markets, and therefore we were not going to be able to issue a bond this year, which has immediate implications for the availability of foreign exchange. But as you said a few moments ago, our friend from Ghana Television, the government has announced its intention to raise $2 billion from some syndicated arrangements with banks. Now, if that goes through, that should help improve the supply of foreign exchange to the economy as a whole, and therefore should impact positively on the strength of the cedi. In terms of what the Bank of Ghana has been doing, as you're aware, we have the fortnightly foreign exchange auctions where we make foreign exchange available to the system. And in the last few weeks, past 4 weeks, we have been making special allocation to the OMCs and the energy companies, as well as the cement producing companies. And I can tell you that as of last week, we had completely cleared the pipeline demand for foreign exchange from these OMCs. So what you are saying in terms of tweaking the framework for the OMCs is already in place. And I think that if you talk to the OMCs, they'll tell you that the Bank of Ghana has been making foreign exchange available to them. In addition to that, we've made foreign exchange available to the market broadly. And we think all of that should help in terms of mitigating the pace of depreciation of the cedi. Now, these are all short-term measures, immediate measures that we are taking to address the matter. But we also this morning have announced an increase in our policy rate. That action in itself should make our domestic assets more attractive and improve the incentives for investing in cedi-denominated assets. So the significant policy rate adjustment that you saw is also aimed at strengthening the cedi. Some of the medium to longer term actions, you mentioned the domestic gold purchasing program. These are things that would impact the level of gross reserves in the medium term. We've made quite some progress in terms, I think we've bought over 600 kilograms of Doré gold, but this gold has to be refined to very high standards before they will qualify as a reserve asset. And we are in the process of fulfilling all the due diligence requirements that the refineries, the LBMA certified refineries in the world look out for. We are hoping, we are quite sure that in the next month or two, we would be able to export the Doré gold that we have. And once that is refined, it will become part of our gross reserves. Issues that we also discussed at this weekend retreat in the medium term is also to look at some of the retention agreements that we have with the oil marketing, with the oil drilling companies, etc. These are really medium to longer term issues which should help improve the foreign exchange earning capacity of the economy as a whole. So yes, we are quite confident that these measures would help to stabilize the cedi. If you listen to what I said that we think that the exchange rate has overshot its long-run level. And when that happens, it can only appreciate. So those that are speculating on the CD, I think that they should be aware that the central bank thinks that the CD has overshot its medium-term levels, and therefore we think that we can only see some appreciation in the next few quarters. So I'm not sure that you're going to win by speculating against the CD. The issue of whether Ghana debt is distressed is neither here or there. We said that the rating companies downgraded us because of fiscal and debt sustainability issues. So these are matters that are already in the public domain. The government has announced ways in which they will deal with it. You know about the 20% expenditure cut. That's one of the measures that the government is undertaking. And I think later on this week we'll hear more measures that will come out of the finance ministry. The issue of e-levy, really, I think that anything that can help raise government revenues, because this is the priority at this time. We all recognize the importance of raising revenue for the budget. Yes, we have other objectives, such as financial inclusion and all of that, but I think that the immediate priorities right now is for us to put in those measures that would allow the government to obtain the revenues that are needed in order to address the fiscal concern, which is a matter which is of high significance for the overall Ghanaian economy. So that's what I'll say on the issue of the e-levy. Thank you.
So George Yafe.
My name is George Yafe, Joy FM, Joy News as well. Governor, I wanted to find out from you, with respect to these measures that you've outlined, have you given yourself any timelines or any extrapolations that by the next 2 quarters or by the next quarter, we should see that impacting on the cedi and also inflation as well? And this is a monetary measure. From what you're getting from the fiscal side as well, are you convinced that those measures can help with the situation to help stabilize things a little bit? You've announced a round of a lot of measures still on the monetary side to help with the situation. In terms of the overall FX laws and enforcing it, are we going to see things change? Because it's still a problem out there in terms of the whole dollarization of the economy, and that is also feeding into this demand, especially in the first quarter of the year. With respect to the debt numbers, again, from whatever you've gathered, does it reflect the true situation on the ground? The concern here is that maybe it's been massaged. And what do you have at your end in terms of our debt position, end of year, first 2 months of the year, please? Thank you so much.
Thank you, George. Now, Sule, get ready, and then Novan.
Good afternoon. My name is Nanoye from Asasi Radio. Governor, so we have witnessed a situation where the policy rate has been reduced several times, but the banks failed to reduce their cost of credit. Now that you have increased it by 250 basis points, will they at least try not to increase it too high? I'm talking for those of us who would want to go to the banks for some loans. So, and somebody was telling me a while ago that he was trying to get a loan from a bank and they were reluctant. Were they waiting for an announcement so they could increase their cost? My second question has to do with the Freedom Coin. You cautioned us not to do business with those who are promoting it because you have not approved it. Beyond the caution, what more are you doing? Because it's all over social media and some people may fall prey. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Suleiman Mustafa. Just a couple of questions. Governor, in the absence of a Eurobond issuance for 2022, what is the outlook for the country's external account balances, particularly with respect to our reserves? And then with this hike, 250 basis points hike in the policy rate, Is the Bank of Ghana also concerned that this also poses threat to fiscal debt sustainability, particularly through high interest payments? And lastly, the government has announced a 20% spending cut. As the government's exchequer, can you please give us an early indication of the implementation of this 20% cut? And perhaps let me just create your indulgence that I know that Madam Isi Amond is retiring from the bank this year. On behalf of myself and my colleagues who wish her well, I know that this is her last MPC meeting. And so, we just want to take this opportunity to wish her well in her future endeavor. Thank you so much.
Sule, thank you. I beg you, let's be very brief also with our questions because of time. Novan, very brief.
My name is Novan Akwahefort with Novan Report. Mr. Governor, according to the IMF, the e-Naira may reduce demand for deposits in commercial banks, and this is because the e-Naira, they say, will effectively be seen as deposits with the Central Bank of Nigeria resulting in funds transfers from accounts into this wallet that was being created. Now, we are also going to be launching our ECD, and I wanted to know from the bank if you're expecting to face the same challenge and what would be the measures that you put in place to prevent that.
No, thank you. David Hudson, very brief.
Bonjour, mon gouverneur, et bonne année. L'Ukraine has been a major arms manufacturer globally. And now we find that the Ukraine and Russia are exporting wheat, fertilizers, and things like that. Now they've kicked out our major importers like Canada. We were importing wheat from Canada much earlier, and fertilizer from France, for example. Now, you're paying for all these imports for Ghana, the Bank of Ghana, and can we see the change in this, or the dichotomy that we are now going towards the east, Russia and Ukraine for wheat and fertilizers instead of our traditional supplies like Canada and France. Now, secondly, the e-levy, can it be put in another form, or can we call it maybe a street tax? Because there seems to be a lot of confusion coming out of the e-levy. Thank you, my governor. Merci.
Thank you very much. Echo.
Thank you, Governor. Governor, the inflation rate that has necessitated your hike, it's more of a supply side thing. How does this affect access to finance for private sector, our engine of growth, and growth for that matter? And you mentioned about 600 kilograms of gold that you are exporting to get it refined, then it becomes dowry gold before added to the reserves. I want some clarity, because I also know that we have a refinery just next door that should be outdoored sometime this year. So some clarity on that would help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Justice. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Justice, very, very brief. Justice, please go ahead very, very briefly, and we'll have feedback from
very much. Yes.
Our chairman. Thank you very brief. Thank you.
Okay, two short questions. A further clarity on the e-levy issue. Some people have said that the volume of, that is the value of money that goes to the, mobile money system that is reported each year is sometimes the same amount of money that has been going around. And that is the projection on which the government has based this 7 billion Ghana cedis on. But so when they are going to tax e-levy, it will be the taxing the same amount of money that is going around in different hands. We want to get a clarity on that. That is the Bank of Ghana's position. Secondly, somebody has asked me to ask you, with the new requirements for opening bank account with the Ghana cedi, if a foreigner wants to open an account in Ghana today, a resident foreigner, what does he need to do that? Thank you.
Thank you, Justice. Mr. Chairman, we'll take your response. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the last question that came in on foreigners opening bank account, that's quite straightforward. because the foreigners also have Ghana cards issued to them, right? Yes, they are allowed to have Ghana cards issued to them as resident foreigners, and therefore they shouldn't have any problem opening bank accounts. Now let me start with Joy FM, the question on whether the measures that we have implemented have timelines and our assessment of whether the monetary and fiscal measures will be able to deal with the situation that we are faced with. In terms of the measures that we have announced on the liquidity side for the banks, raising the reserve requirements to 12% for banks, that's one measure that we would be evaluating its impact on the banks and how that impacts on the liquidity of banks. So that would be reviewed at the next Monetary Policy Committee, and that's when we will decide on whether to keep it at 12% or not. So that obviously is, in a sense, time-bound. The policy rate adjustments that we have announced, as well as the fiscal measures that are being taken, have an impact of withdrawing stimulus from the economy. And that type of stimulus withdrawal should be able to impact on aggregate demand and therefore deal with the inflation pressures that we are seeing. And George, if the question is whether we think that these measures would be effective, I believe this is the question you are asking. We have made the assessment that a policy rate adjustment of 250 basis points should be effective. But we are complementing that also with the liquidity, withdrawal from the banks, because this would require the banks to hold more CDs with the central bank, and those CDs will not be available out there chasing goods and services or foreign exchange for that matter. So all of that would really help deal with the aggregate demand pressures that we are dealing with. But this also relates to Bloomberg's question that the inflation that we are seeing is a supply side problem. I don't agree with that assessment. There are the supply side issues, but we are also looking at the second round effects of oil adjustments, transportation price adjustments, and how all of that is influencing inflation expectations. So yes, there may be a supply side aspect to it, but in order to get it to be sustained, you need that initial commodity shock, propagate itself in the system. And this is what monetary policy normally would deal with. Echo, this issue about the Dory gold that we are going to be exporting to be refined outside, we have to do that because the refinery in Ghana is not LBMA certified.
So you have the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Ernest Addison, who's been addressing the media, and he's been saying that in a few weeks' time, we should begin to see some stabilization of the economy. He talked about the exchange rate, which he says has overshot its medium-term level, and for that matter, some appreciation is imminent shortly. He's also indicated that government has agreed to look at the retention agreements, some of the retention agreements with regards to the soaring prices of petroleum products. These are measures he says would yield positive results in no time. So government is expected to actually announce further expenditure cuts and review of all 16 social intervention measures following a 3-day retreat aimed at finding solutions to the country's mounting economic problems. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will provide details of government's response to rising fuel prices, fast depreciation of the cedi, among other challenges which have caused significant rise in the cost of living. The presidency has ruled out any possibility of returning to the IMF against recommendations by top economists There's more in the following desk report.
I'm using all our money to buy fuel.
I was hoping that I could get building materials at cheaper prices, but the prices keep soaring.
That's the crunch being felt by many Ghanaians. Fuel prices are at an all-time high beyond 10 cedis per litre after starting the year at 6 cedis 30 pesos. The city is in a free fall and general cost of living is on the ascendancy. President Akufo-Addo has admitted that the economic conditions are harsh.
I know these are difficult times for all of us.
Kojo Nkrumah is Information Minister and he's been speaking on the matter.
Decided and that will be borders to know any day was a year and sunny to me a be. Mejidi Sansana na what you in Connery, no Mampani Nankasa, any a Becasa. Mampani, as I take a decision, there was a Bank of Ghana, nay, Finance Minister, Mtumie, na Masidi no Mwaka.
I can confirm that the President has decided on when to open our land borders. He will communicate that to us before the end of the week.
And he said, you know, I'm penny to one or more taking decisions and not details about. It also means your budget, Nankasa. Your budget, New Year, you know.
The President has taken decisions too on Ghana's economy.
And the buying expenses, so you cut your expenditures by about 20%. Sabri, I the witness you will live. Whilst I have a minimum company start to say sign budget also by 30%. I mean by some extra point. ABA will be do by 30 ABA in Rusa, but I was a finance minister.
The President has asked that we reduce the budget as well.
Whilst I have him now see a budget also.
We'll take a break on Joy News today. We'll bring you business shortly.
Time now for business with me, Beverly Broom. The Northern Regional Minister, Alhaji Shaibu Alhassan Saibu, has called on players in the insurance industry to work hard to change the narrative where vehicle owners see insurance as an opportunity to avoid the police arrest instead of security from risk. Here's more from the 7th Annual Conference and Exhibition of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana held in Tamale.
The Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana is holding its 7th conference 2022 after it was unable to hold 2 earlier events due to COVID-19. The event brings together industry captains to deliberate on how to transform the sector. Northern Regional Coordinating Director, who represented the minister, called for professionalism and the business to ensure healthy competition.
Life will continue to become easier for all of us when the workload of the regulator is lightened through the cooperation of regulated entities who are expected to conduct themselves in a professional manner at all times and not give in to business malpractices such as underpricing premiums, illegal payments of commissions to unlicensed individuals, etc. I mean, what is important in cutting to generate more businesses, but making underwriting losses at the end of the day, insurance players, that is, insurance and brokers, must learn to play according to the rules of the profession. Choose conscience over unhealthy competition. This is the sure way to promote integrity and prevent the use of increased regulatory requirements to resurrect good behavior.
The guests of honor, Sanarna Abdullahi Yakubu, expressed hope that the meeting would help address negative perceptions about insurance.
Economic and technological evolution of your professional environment make it mandatory to remain vigilant in order to cope with related challenges. It is my hope that this conference will serve as an opportunity to examine all challenges and potential remedial measures to enable you to take advantage of opportunities that can occur.
The Equatorial Coca-Cola Bottling Company says it's poised to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to its Corporate Affairs Director for West Africa, Bethel Yeboah, some standards have been set to ensure that the same product is produced across the continent. Mr. Yeboah engaged the media on the sidelines of the reintroduction of the Coca-Cola Zero.
The Corporate Affairs Director for West Africa at the Equatorial Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Bethel Yeboah, says the firm is strategically positioning itself to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. According to him, this will position Coca-Cola as a brand of choice for consumers. He said this at the unveiling of the new Coca-Cola Zero Sugar campaign.
This is an opportunity, for us to take advantage of the sub-region and then the market that NAFTA brings. Okay, so issues of, for example, when you are exporting or when you are importing, you do not have to pay certain duties because we've standardized a number of things, and for that matter, the same product in Ghana is supposed to be the same in, say, Liberia or Guinea-Conakry, or for that matter, any country in Africa. What is interesting is that some of these things, do happen, and the challenge that you have, has to do with, for example, labor, having the right skills, because you are going to have players that are big that comes into the market, and so it's important that we have the right skill set, within our market.
Franchise Marketing Director for Coca-Cola West Islands and Middle Africa, Arno Ingwesan, said his outfit is committed to making products tailored to suit the demands of consumers, hence improving on the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Consumers as well are looking at to associate with brand and products that meet the needs and preferences, are innovative in that regard. Recognizing that taste and preferences are always evolving, we are focused on continuous improvement to give consumers the best tasting Coca-Cola they want, with zero sugar or 0 calories, offered in the most iconic packaging and powered by some of our most creative consumer-centering marketing yet.
The launch of the new Coca-Cola recipe was dubbed Zero Gravity.
We have more business on myjoyonline.com/business. Apps next is sports.
Time now for sports on Joy News today with me, Muftao Nabila Abda. It's a big week for the Black Stars as they seek to qualify for the FIFA World Cup that will be staged in Qatar later this year. Acting head coach of the team, Otto Addo, has been speaking for the first time since he was given the job, and he says that he and the boys are determined to secure qualification to the Mundial. And technical advisor to the team, Chris Houghton, also says that it's an opportunity for them to make history. There's more in this report. The Black Stars will host the Super Eagles at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium on March 25 in the first leg of the FIFA 2022 World Cup qualifiers playoff. The senior national team is seeking to qualify to the World Cup for the first time since 2014. And Otto Addo, acting head coach of the team, says he and the boys are very confident of scaling the hurdle against the Nigerians.
We are only a few days away from playing our crucial match against our rivals, Nigeria. We all expect Ghana to qualify for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar 2022. But that won't be easy, as we need to do our best to make it to this tournament. The players, the technical team, and the Ghana Football Association are committed to this task. We really want to make ourselves and the nation proud by qualifying for this upcoming World Cup. Matches between Ghana and Nigeria are always difficult, but we believe in our players, we believe in our strategies, and we believe in the unflinching support of all Ghanaians as we go into these two matches. We are Ghana, and we have what it takes to come out victorious.
Technical advisor to the technical team, Chris Hilton, believes this is an opportunity for the 3 times World Cup participants to make history once again.
I would like to urge Ghanaians to remain calm and positive about the team, because we strongly believe we have the quality, desire and hunger to achieve the results that we want. It is our aim to qualify for the Qatar World Cup, and we all have a duty to make that dream a reality. Ghana have done it before, and we can guarantee you that everybody associated with the Black Stars wants this opportunity again to perform on a world stage. This moment presents an opportunity to write history, and we are all committed to it, from the players, the technical staff, the Ghana Football Association and the government. We value your support. We are Ghana and we are ready.
The winner of the tie between Ghana and Nigeria over 2 legs will secure qualification to participate in the FIFA World Cup to be staged in Qatar later this year. The last time the Black Stars participated in the Mundial was in 2014 in Brazil. However, the Super Eagles have been to every single tournament since 2010, and their former striker, Yakubu Aigbeno, speaking on Joy Sports Link, claims that it will not be a big deal if Ghana fails to qualify for the World Cup.
I'm not going to put a word like it's a disaster. No. No one will feel good. We're going to feel bad. We're going to upset everyone. We're not going to be happy not going to the World Cup, not just playing Ghana. And most of the boys, the Nigerian team, most of them, maybe this is their last chance to play in the World Cup. He will never come. So they have to go there and give in their best. We don't want to think about not going to the World Cup. We're thinking about we're going to be in Qatar already. You understand? I know how the Ghanaians, they feel as well. They want to be at the World Cup, you know. But we as a Nigerian as well, our dream is to go there. Our dream is to support them. Just imagine Nigeria not qualifying for the World Cup. If Ghana not qualifying for the World Cup, it's not a big deal.
You think so? I'll let John answer that.
It's not a big deal, but Nigeria not qualifying for the World Cup is a big deal, you know. He knows it. He knows it. He knows about. He knows what I'm talking about.
No, and that's your sports for now, but we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. Up next is World News.
And it's time for entertainment and showbiz now this afternoon. My name is KMJ, and moving on to the stories, Ras Kuku has spoken about the VGMAs. Over the weekend, the nominations were out, and the biggest controversies will be around the Artist of the Year. Ras Kuku believes that Joe Mettle, who found himself in the category, does not deserve to be there.
The Artists of the Year, they always see those who have worked hard, those whose songs have been a hit. At least 1, 2, 3 songs. You have an album, you have this, you perform here and there. All those over there, they are cool, you know, they did so well. But in terms of Joe Mettle, we all want to know, all the music lovers and fans want to know what he actually did for him to be there. Just like the time he won the Artist of the Year. Me, myself, Kojo Kranchi, I didn't know Joe Mettle until he won the Artist of the Year.
Are you kidding me? You never knew him?
I never knew him.
But you knew his songs?
No. That's the fact. I never knew until he won the Artist of the Year at that time.
But you, Ankasa, do you listen to gospel music?
I listen to gospel music. My music is a gospel song.
Which of
Nimpa Boy is a gospel song. And Once Night is a gospel song.
Once Night?
Yes. Listen, somebody said, I swerve you. You consider that one to be.
I don't want to be gospel.
And I said, I am blessed.
Come on, you see, when
I said I'm blessed, don't you see that one as a gospel song?
Oh, it is, yeah. So once,
or you only listen to the part I said in once now.
Now, what's it once now?
It's a gospel song. It's a fact.
No, what I'm saying is that what does the once now got to do with the song? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, the one song the one song in the song talks about the haters. They are the haters. Who everyone who hates you is an one now. That is a housefly. So the thing is, Joe Metty. Let's come back to the issue. Joe Metty, he did nothing last year. Fact. And the thing is, it's like. Just like the way you asked me, have I been listening to gospel song? I'm not supposed to listen to gospel song before I know a hit song in this country. It's a fact. He did nothing.
And that's Raskuku speaking with Andy Dosty on Daybreakers. Away from that, Charterhouse boss Theresa Ayuade has criticized the media for not projecting our Kwekwanansi stories like that of Avatar and The Worst Do. This she spoke about in an interview. Here it is.
Why haven't we, those of us who went through the Kwekwanansi generation and learned all the Kwekwanansi stories, what did we do about passing it on to our children? What did we as the custodians of the media do about modernizing the Kwekwanansi stories and making it more palatable and appealing to the current generation, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z? How have we made our culture palatable to them? Why haven't we done cartoon series of the Kwekwanansi if that's what they like, or that is what they are consuming through the mass media? Why aren't we telling our own cultural stories? And I think that's where the media has failed us. Why are we not telling our cultural stories?
And that's the CEO of Charterhouse, Madam Theresa Ayuade over there. That will be all for Showbiz this afternoon. My name is KMJ. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com.
It for news today, definitely log on to myjoyonline.com. You'll get updates of all the developing stories. Enjoy the rest of our programs.